I've just turned onto Skyline Drive here in Shanendoah National Park. It's foggy and mysterious looking and absolutely beautiful. Just driving along this road at a very slow pace, 35 miles an hour, gives this amazing feeling of enclosure. The canopy above just seems to be stretching out and reaching its little fingers across the road to each other, and it's really beautiful, and I'm not making it at all sound as awesome as it actually is. You should just come here and drive it. Try that. Instead of me trying to be all artistic and weird, just come check it out. It's really cool. So normally on a non-foggy day, you could come up to one of these overlooks and just see mountains and mountains. They call this the Blue Ridge Mountains because it almost has a blue look to the mountains when you're looking at distances. Yet on a foggy day like today, you can't see more than 100 feet away. So even though it's beautiful in a different way. It's certainly not the same. So come up on a day like this, and you'll have to come back on a day when it's clear, so you can see why this place was made in the first place. They didn't make this because it was a great foggy drive. They made it because there was some spectacular views up here of these Appalachian mountains. Hey, deer, what are you eating? I feel like I've seen a lot of wildlife on this trip, and this is the first time that it actually didn't seem like it was scared of me. It's kind of cool to just sit there and watch him. I think I could chase him or go out and pet him. I'm sure if I stopped the car and pulled over, he'd run off. Hey! See ya, I'm leaving, okay? Keep eating grass. Here's some of his friends. You got grass in your hair. Hey, what you eating? Well, I've made it to the Harry F. Byrd Visitor Center, and we're gonna go see what's inside. I'm assuming this is Harry. I don't know how he got his name, because he's very clean shaven. Put a shirt on. You know, if you come to a national park, you should have the opportunity to go through the little museum part of the visitor center and actually read each of the little things they have here. You'll learn some fascinating things. I didn't know that Shanendoah National Park was an effort over 3 different presidencies, and that there were people living in the park area and were actually forced to be evicted so that the park could go through. For example, this gentleman, Herbert Kleiser, I think it's that, yeah, Kleiser, was forced to leave his home because he lived inside the park, and his business and his farm was all inside the park, and they needed it for the park, so they evicted him. They literally took his family. Look at this. We are unwilling to part with our homes to help a small part of our population to get their hands into tourists' pockets. He looked at it as a financial effort by the government. Was it? Wasn't it? Very interesting to learn these things and form your own opinions. Here in the museum is an example of how they marked the Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia with these carves out and then the mark in the tree. I saw these firsthand when I was hiking on the Appalachian Trail just the other day. It was because of these marks that apparently were established back in the 30s and have been continued to maintained that I found my way out of the woods. I might not have found my way quite as quickly if it wasn't for those marks. So, grateful for you, buddy. You know what strikes me as I drive through here is that this is a whole different type of, I don't know how to just, it's hard to describe it. Like, I think about Utah and, you know, the desert out there and how much open space there is and how people always talk about how overcrowded the world is and overpopulated the world is. And then I come to places like this and there is miles and miles and miles of emptiness. I mean, you could literally go wandering off into the fog here and never be seen again. And who knows if people would ever come across that same spot. Are people walking in the same spot twice because they happen to be hiking there? And this is a whole different type of wilderness that, again, illustrates to me how big and amazing our world is. You know, people talk about overpopulation, but I think it's because they're feeling crowded and stuck in traffic in the same city, you know, that it covers 10 square miles, and they've never left that city. Get out and go explore. Go see how big the world really is. I think you're going to be shocked at how underpopulated we are and how really huge the world is. We are so, I don't want to say inconsequential, but infinitesimal compared to the size of the world and the possibilities in the world. Go explore. Get out of the city. Get out of the towns. Go find a place that has very little there besides you and trees and animals. And I think you'll start appreciating what you have a little bit more. Another thing I love about national parks is how they seem to do their best to integrate the landscape into the architecture and things they're doing. Here's an example of a giant rock outcropping that was on the top of this mountain. I believe this is called Hazel Mountain. And you can see they took the wall and just integrated it right into it. So this natural barrier, they extend that natural barrier into this parking lot area. Let's take a look at this thing. Boy, my kids would love it to be here, climbing around on these rocks, this amazing view. You can just barely make out the mountain on the other side over there, all this fog. It's a really incredible spot. I can even see some trees over here that are starting to turn red. Just a fantastic spot. Definitely glad I came. Here's another astounding thing. Giant mountain. They're like, you know what? Let's not make the road go around it. Let's make it go through it. Really cool tunnel here. What an awesome drive. You know, it's not often you come to a national park and find your own name. I'm sure that they dedicated this to me. And for that, I want to thank the president and the vice president, the first lady, everyone who made Jeremy's Run Overlook possible. Elevation 2,410. I couldn't ask for more elevation than that. Thanks everyone, really. I've got two regrets as I drive the Skyline Drive here inside Shanendoah National Park. Regret number one, didn't bring my family. You know, I'm here on a business trip, so I didn't have an opportunity to have all of them fly back with me and be here the whole week. They've got school and other things going on, so it, just wasn't possible. But I really wish my kids could have seen all these deer, could have seen that owl. Just so many cool things that I've experienced here, and I just wish they could have seen it. I wish they could have been a part of it. So I've just discovered this whole time I've been driving that apparently this rental car has a sunroof that goes all the way back. So kind of cool to expand that out and have a little extra view. Didn't know. It's so foggy I can barely see the road ahead of me. The other thing I regret is that I didn't get to drive my Jeep. I'd rather be driving through my Jeep and something like this. I am glad that I do have a cool sunroof and things like that. That's a lot of fun, but it's just not the same. Not the same, and I wish I was in my Jeep. But overall, been a fantastic trip, and I'm really glad that I came. Really glad that I was able to explore the Shanendoah National Park and the Skyline Drive. So I hope you got inspired to go explore your closest national park through this video. There's lots all across the nation, and I don't know where the closest one is to you, but make a trip there. Go check it out. And even if it's not a national park, get outside. Go explore. Go find something to climb on top of, or have a picnic near, or bask in the shade of. Whatever it is, just get out there and explore. Thanks for watching.